Hello and welcome. This is an exciting week. You are currently about 12 days out before the sacrament of your confirmation. This is really an exciting time. I want to talk a little bit about it and what's going to happen. And over the course of this week, we'll delve more into what's going to happen to you spiritually, because it's really important for us to think and reflect on these things. I'm going to talk a little bit today what it's like to be a parent, what it's like to be a child, and what it's like to be a sponsor of someone who is on this journey of confirmation. So the first thing that I want everybody to do is, for your homework, is to go back for yourself and take a look at some pictures of your baptism. I really want you to focus on that day, and I also really want you to focus on the day of your first Holy Communion. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now as a parent and as somebody who went through it myself. And I'm going to reflect on that a little bit, but I want to show you something I have here. So this picture here, this is my daughter being baptized. The day was October 28th, 2007. And that day was a really important day. The thing that I remember about it was that in that picture that I just showed you, Gracie was screaming at the top of her lungs. And she stopped crying when her godfather brought her the candle with the light of Christ. She zeroed in on that flame. When I asked my husband what his most memorable thing was about that day, it was the fact that people came from all over the United States for that day. The sacrament was a big deal. And why was it a big deal? It was a big deal because our daughter was being adopted by God. God gave her two parents, a mom and a dad, who love her very much. And that is where she first learned about God's love, was from me and her dad. But she needed another parent, a parent that is perfect, because God knows as a parent, I am not perfect. We have all experienced the imperfection of our parents, right? And been disillusioned or disappointed or even angry with our parents before, right? Well, God knows that each of us needs a perfect parent. And so God adopts each of us into his family, into the body of Christ. And that's just step one. Because who made the promise for Gracie on October 28th, 2007? Me, her dad, and her godparents did. I have another picture here. This is a picture of Gracie, me and her dad, and her godparents. These godparents and me and her dad are the ones responsible for the faith in Gracie's heart right now. She has not been confirmed yet, and we are the ones who are challenged with raising her in the faith. So, like I said, we first learn about God's love from those who on earth, one-on-one, love us intensely. My mom and dad love me no matter what. I'm 42 now, and I know that they love me, and I have experienced it on lots of different ways and lots of different levels. As a child, I experienced it differently. So I want you today to think about the ways that you have experienced love from your parents that was different or was really touching, that really made you feel comfortable, safe, and secure. Okay, so baptism, like I said, that is step one. Parents and godparents make the promise to raise the child in the faith. And as part of that deal that we make, that promise that we make to God, we also make sure that our children receive the sacrament of First Holy Communion. So I also want you to pull out your pictures of First Holy Communion. I want you to think about that day. What was it like for you? What was that day like for you? This is Gracie's First Communion. Ooh, there she is. She looks so serious and solemn. I love it. What do you remember about that day? You remember that day. Chances are you don't remember your baptism day and you only have pictures. But what do you remember about First Holy Communion? I remember, for me, on my First Communion day, I got to make my First Communion on my birthday, March 15th. I was ecstatic about that. And my mom and dad threw a big party, and every single member of the family showed up that day. And so it was a big deal. It must have been a big deal if every single person came. What do you remember about that day? All right, now, step 1, baptism. Step 2, communion. Step 3, confirmation. When you get to step 3, you have been fully initiated, fully arms open wide and around you into the church. The church is now fully your home. This place. But not only this place, but the church of your heart. The church resides in your heart because the church, who is the head of the church but Jesus? And Jesus is welcoming you open-armed into the church. But that also means now it comes with some responsibility. So over the course of this week, we're going to be talking about who you are, who Jesus is, and what he asks of us to help build up his church. So I'm going to give you a few things to think about and write about, and after that, your work for today will be done. I look forward to being on this journey with you. You'll get to hear from a few different people, not just me, because I'm sure my voice gets old in your head. And I pray for you this week that your heart grows bigger and that you have a deeper understanding of God's love for you. I can't wait to see you soon on your confirmation day.